Hello everyone, so welcome to the Trickle Up podcast. I'm here today with Majid Khan, who is the owner and director of Simply Motoring, which is going to be opening in Doncaster very, very soon. So
imminently opening.
So Majid, welcome to the podcast. We thought we'd take this opportunity to film some questions that we've got, some questions that the team have been asking. But to start off, let's just pick up where we usually do, which is when Simply Motoring opening up.
So first of all, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting me along, and a big thank you to all your team for the work they've been doing over the past, 2 years now, working with me? Nearly. So what started off as what should have been a very short, quick, sharp opening and turnaround has somewhat elongated and become very long and protracted. And good news is, just before I went on holiday, went on annual leave, we had sign off from VOSA. So the regulatory authority who gives the licenses to allow us to MOT, they've been out, they've done an inspection, they're happy with the standard that we have, the equipment and the setup, and they've given us authorization to be able to carry out that business. So that was the main thing. Once you've got that authorization, the next is just simply as opening up the doors, getting in the team, get them ready and start taking on work and taking on business.
Okay, so you've already highlighted it's took you nearly 2 years and took us nearly 18 months worth of delayed marketing activity. What's caused the delay?
So it's not just been one thing, it's been, as you know, life gets busy and work gets busy, and as you know, the country's been through quite an upheaval recently. So we had elections which came around, which were very work intense compared to what they were in years gone by, because we really had to return a Labour government this time round to help.
And you've been a Labour councillor now in Doncaster for how many years?
So 10 years I've been a Labour politician, a former mayor, civic mayor of Doncaster, parliamentary candidate in 2019. So I'm very much very much involved in what goes on in our city. And when the elections were called, so all hands on deck to ensure that we return not only a Labour MP in central Doncaster, but make sure that the constituencies which surround the borough and make up the other parts of Doncaster, they also return Labour MPs to ensure that we have that consistency through government, through local policy setting and ensuring the best for our residents. So that took up maybe about 2.5 months went into that, doing that, making sure that we did return that Labour government. That aside, as you know, in the UK, winter periods are extreme and bitterly cold, and so some of the construction work which we had to take on can't be carried out over winter. We can't pour concrete, we can't lay bricks, and anything which involves cement or that type of material, that work can't be carried out. So we have short windows in which we can carry that work out. And not that I'm saying that my landlord is bad, I'm sure he's the best landlord in the world, but some delays were caused by him and tallying up our work schedules to make sure the work that I needed to be carried out and he had to carry out were in sync and working together. So that did cause some of the delays at the beginning of the project and midway, but we've overcome most of those hurdles now and we're at a good place, I feel.
So the good news is you guys are going to go into a purpose-built MOT garage and service and repair garage as well. So you can have state-of-the-art equipment and you can have everything exactly what car users want and for their car. So tell me then, what kind of technologies or what can people expect when they visit Simply Motoring?
So when they walk through the door, it's a purpose-built garage made for MOT testing and made for repairs. So often you find MOT testing stations or garages are just shoehorned into other spaces and other workshops. Whereas here we designed the building and the build, the setup, the waiting room, the toilets, the kitchen, everything around end user and what would best benefit customers and people who are part of the team at Simply Motoring. So the technology and the ramps, the machinery, the equipment, it's all the latest, the state of the art, and it ensures that we deliver best service to customers and they have the best experience as well. And customers are often fearful when walking into a garage. They're unsure, what it entails or where they're going to end up at the end of that journey in that, bills or repairs or what costs are going to come out. is their vehicle going to be off the road for days on end? And we're here to give people assurances that we're transparent in what we do. Friendly environment, very relaxed. They can ask any questions that they want. We'll explain things in very simple, straightforward terms so they understand exactly what's going on with their vehicle and what their needs are. And overall, we're really pushing to be customer focused and customer orientated with this.
Okay, so my car's broken and I'm going to bring it to your garage. I'm going to bring it to Simply Motoring. What can I expect different from the service that I'm going to get from you guys than what I would do if I went to Halfords or went to main dealerships?
So what I'd say is the level of expertise that we have, often in other garages, how that transpires and transforms is people are just spitting words at you which you might not understand, and they start talking about components or reasons for failure or what repairs are required. And I mean, the simplest way to try to describe that is a brain surgeon trying to speak to somebody who, I don't know, is a primary school student on what they're going to do. You know, the language, what they're talking is coherent, but the person at the other end doesn't understand what's going on. So the whole idea is to really simplify the whole experience and explain in simple language, tailored to their level. Now, if we get a mechanic who comes to us who needs repairs done, we'll then give that advice at that level so they understand what we're going to do. But at the same time, we'll tailor that to the level of what the customer is so they can really understand and grasp what we're doing, why it needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And more importantly, make sure that we have buy-in and they understand on what they're getting. So there's no surprises when they come to collect their vehicle. They know exactly what they've signed up for, what they're taking and what they're being delivered with.
Okay, so one element of my mind's telling me that sounds like, what, more expensive, cheaper? Where are you guys going to sit from a cost point of view?
So from a cost point of view, we're going to be where I think most garages are in the UK. Pricing is very much dependent. On MOTs, it's very much a standard rate across the industry. So that's what we'll be charging. For repairs and maintenance, the charges will be determined purely by the vehicle it is, the parts it requires, and the time which it takes to do those repairs. Again, we're very transparent on that. We use technology, we use computer systems, so we can give customers a very good indication of what a particular repair will take. There's always hiccups though. There's always surprises. So in that instance, what we would do is we'd get some video evidence, we'd send it over to customers, explain if there's going to be any delays or if there's any change to the work plan that we initially set up and what we agreed upon. And then we'd wait for confirmation from the customer to allow us to carry on and do that work.
So when I'm taking my car into the garage, I want to make sure that the person fixing my car is suitably trained and suitably qualified to be able to do that repair. Because what I don't want them to do is make it worse than what it was before. I've had that once before. How do you guys overcome that? How do you make sure that your mechanics are always going to be at the forefront of the technology and to make sure that they can carry out the repairs effectively?
So to start with, we ensure that all our mechanics are qualified properly. So whether they're an MOT tester or if they're carrying out maintenance and repairs, they're qualified to the level that they need to be. And there's always continuous professional development in the industry because of the way it's moving. You know, with electric cars and hybrid vehicles, how fast the market's now moving and how quick the repairs are changing. So we ensure that all our mechanics are trained effectively. They carry out any additional training which is required. All our MOT testers work to a standard which ensures that they carry out additional training each year. And we work in conjunction with other garages to ensure that we're implementing best practice to ensure that our testers, our mechanics, and even our management staff are always working to the best standard. Okay,
and nowadays, obviously we're a marketing agency, and for us, communication is something that's really important. How do you plan, or do you plan to have effective communications with your customers, and if so, how is that going to be?
So my main focus and the team's main focus is going to be communication via social media. It's very easy to get a message out there of what we are and what we're about, and with your help and your team's help, I'm hoping that we can be very effective at doing that and delivering that message. And the message that I might put out there would probably be differ to what your team would view as a good standard. That's why I'm relying on you for that expertise and for those services.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I think the people of Sprotborough and the greater city of Doncaster people will benefit with Simply Motoring. But let's move away then. So I've left Doncaster now 4.5 years ago. So Doncaster has now become a city. So I left it a town and now it's a city. So tell me, what are the challenges that Doncaster is facing at the moment?
So a lot of the challenges that we're facing are similar to those which have been felt across the country. As you know, we've had a government in power for a long time up until recently, and as a result of which a lot of essential services had been defunded or cut back. And with the recent elections and the change of government, what we're hoping for is more money coming to local government, more money spent on NHS. Frontline policing needs to be increased and more money spent there. And we need wholesale change in a societal shift almost back to how it was after the 1997 elections, when Tony Blair and Gordon Brown came into power, when we saw Sure Start centres, when we saw new deals for communities, where communities really took ownership of their areas and implemented change and effectiveness to improve their areas, upskill people and really deliver for people. Kids growing up in that era benefited from Sure Start, benefited from EMA, and these are all things which I'm hoping that the new Labour government are going to be able to put back into place and really help our children and our families.
And what do you think that the new government really wants to hang their hat on? What's the one thing that they want to be really proud of within Doncaster and across the UK?
So, speaking from a local government point of view, I mean, one thing which has been very important for us as Doncaster City Council is getting our airport reopened and get to a position where it's running effectively. And Mayor Ros Jones and our cabinet team have been working tirelessly to ensure that. And when I went away on annual leave, we were at a point where we've really progressed in those talks and those negotiations with a provider who's going to be taking on the airport, at Doncaster Airport. And once the airport reopens and we have the flights coming in and out, then we'll see that trickle up all the way around there, where we'll see money coming back in, money invested. And we're really looking for that. That's from a very localised point of view and from a regional point of view. What we're also looking to do is work with other regions to ensure that there's best practice and we can really push the north of the country forward, really uplift the economy and upskill people and really get people into employment. And nationally, as you know, the NHS has been absolutely decimated. So a big focus is getting the NHS back on its feet and ensuring good health. As we know, if we have healthy people, then we have a healthy workforce, we have productivity in society, and overall, then wellness levels directly affect people's happiness as well. So we really need to have that focus on the NHS and get that going.
So obviously we're an outsourcing company. We have outsourced colleagues for UK businesses. We have outsourced marketing services for UK businesses. However, what's the employment and future prospective employment situation like in the UK at the moment? So
there's been a shift in work, as you know, post-COVID. So there's much more home working, and there's less reliance on being office-based, and some people are in favour of that and some are against that, and both have its upsides and both has its downsides. But I think there needs to be a big focus on reskilling people and that shift in the type of employment that we're seeing and the shift in the industries that we have in the UK. And outsourcing is a component of that. There's certain work which can be done more effectively if it's outsourced, and we can then allow people in the UK to focus on other areas of work. And what I'm a big fan of is high quality manufacturing, and that's something that I really want to see return to the UK.
Like the Germans?
Like the Germans, you know, innovation, effectiveness, and the development of that technology within the UK.
Okay, so coming back onto Simply Motoring then, obviously you're a busy guy, you've got your political career as well as your other ventures as well. However, what's the long-term future of Simply Motoring? Where do you see it in the next 3 to 5 years? Obviously, the short term, we need to get it open, and we need to get everything right, the online marketing, and get the visibility in a really good place. But what does the long-term future look like?
So we always said at the outset that Simply Motoring isn't going to just be one standalone garage or workshop or MOT testing station. The vision is to open up throughout the region to start with, and eventually push it to where it becomes a national brand. And a part of that, again, it comes back to having good training, having a solid team, and having consistency on our message and delivery of that. So people can walk into any branch anywhere in the country and they know exactly what they're going to get, what standard they're going to see, and what service they're going to receive.
Okay. Well, our commitment to you is that we'll help you tell the story of Simply Motoring, and we'll help highlight all the great reasons why customers should visit Simply Motoring as opposed to go to any one of your competitors. And what we need you to do in the short term is get open.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.